Another really interesting article that I saw was regarding rate cuts. So this is something we've been dealing with extensively. Rates are, as much as we try, like I really try hard not to ever focus on rate, because like as a broker, obviously my job, my obligation, I would even say my duty is to find my clients like the best product for their specific needs, right? Like some people actually don't care about rate. They want something that's overly flexible or what have you. So it really does depend. But rate is always a factor. Like, I had someone email me this weekend saying, I have an approval with another broker. Basically, what's the best rate you can offer me on this home that I've found? And I actually responded saying, I appreciate it. I'd be more than happy to work together. Basically saying I don't compete on rate. Like if that's what you're looking for, there are places to do that. But essentially, I work in your best interest. My clients trust and rely on me for my expertise and my experience and my knowledge and so on. So like if you're looking for just the lowest rate, like you've come to the wrong place. I will get you the lowest rate based on all the other metrics involved, but to just sell on rate is very challenging. And I think some people do that. But the reason why I'm saying this is because rates are always part of the conversation. Like there's no way to not have a conversation about rate with each and every client. So rate conversations happen all the time. This is that very long rant was for that point. In the most recent week or two, we've been hearing a lot more about where rates are heading. This has been a huge topic of conversation for the last 3 years. In 2024, everyone was assuming there'd be 4 to 6 rate, but probably 2 to 4 rate cuts is really like the conservative estimate was 2 to 4 rate cuts. I would say now, I think if we get 2 this year, that, we're probably on par. I think 4 is very optimistic right now. I think 2 is probably more realistic. I think 3 would be favorable. And I also think fixed rates are not going to drop as much as people think. I would say that we're probably going to see, looking at historic numbers, historic charts, the likelihood is that rates are probably going to reach and kind of meet around 6%, maybe high fives, mid to high fives. We've seen historically that variable rates are almost always lower than fixed rates. The last 2 years is the first time we've really seen variable rates consistently be higher than fixed. And that has really shifted the way that people have had those discussions around rates. Like we're seeing a lot more people opting for fixed rates. I know I've mentioned this before, but there was a month last year where 95% of new mortgage originations chose a fixed rate over a variable rate. That probably has never happened. I would guess that's probably never happened previously. And I think that the way that the economy has been resilient, there was all that money that was created during COVID, all that money got pushed into the economy. Inflation numbers went through the roof. Inflation really has started to come down, but not quite to where they thought it would be today. And it's been quite resilient. And the states have been showing resilience as well. So I think the rates are not going to come down as quickly or as aggressively as people thought. There was an article I was reading today. It says 2024 rate cut forecast being revised following today's mixed bag jobs report. So I'll just read the first paragraph of this to give you kind of a snapshot, Greg. It says today's employment report for January, in which the unemployment rate ticked down, has caused bond markets and economists to further reel in their rate cut forecast for the year. Despite a dip in the country's unemployment rate in January, today's jobs report from Stats Canada paints a more complicated and mixed picture, economists say. Even so, bond markets have lowered the odds of a Bank of Canada rate cut in March to just 16%. June remains the most probable timing for the first quarter point cut with 90% odds, which is what I predicted earlier. Prior to today, markets were pricing in 90% odds of a 50 basis point reduction. On net, 37,300 jobs were created last month, consisting of a gain of 48,900 part-time positions and a loss of 11,600 full-time jobs. That's pretty interesting. StatsCan also reported that the country's unemployment rate ticked down 0.1 percentage points to 5.7, marking the first decline since December 2022. While these figures suggest strength in Canada's labor market, experts say the underlying details actually point to weakness. When you drop out the workforce and stop looking for a job, you're not counted in the unemployment rate. That's interesting. You've given up. Are more Canadians giving up looking? Bruno Valco, Vice President of National Sales at RMG, pointed out in a recent note for subscribers. I'm not sure what his point is there, but the factor in immigration and population growth and the job numbers released today are terrible. So I find it interesting that there was a huge whackload of part-time positions created and a loss of
full-time,
a quarter full-time jobs, and that showed a net positive of 37,000 jobs. Like when I hear 37,000 jobs were created, I think everyone would assume full-time jobs. No?
Yeah.
So are those part-time jobs, are they working 10 hours a week? Like those 37,000 new jobs could actually work out to be less hours worked than the previous month, but it looks like there's all these new jobs created. It's
funny. You think that they just say that in a headline so that more people get motivated to go and find full-time work or try? Like, I don't know, but he says in the same time, he doesn't think that, are people being lazy? And then they think a headline like that is going to make people not lazy. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of taken back reading it. Obviously reading it for the first time on air. Yeah. But that's very interesting, those numbers. And I think also the rate cut, the fact that they're kind of assuming it's going to be 50 basis points on the first rate cut. I was also, when I said June, I was thinking a quarter point. Like I was thinking a quarter point every time. So a half point drop would be, I'm sure, welcome by many, but it'll be very interesting. I don't know. Like I really, at this point, my hands are in the air. Like, everyone has their thoughts and predictions, but I mean, everyone's been wrong for the last 2 years. So there could be a rate cut in March. That 16% really means nothing to me. These numbers are up, they're down. US comes with something, bonds go up. US comes out with something up, bonds go down. Canada comes out with these job numbers, bonds go up. Like it's all over the map. So we'll just have to wait and see.
It's almost like we say, there's no point in paying attention. Either you want to buy a home or you don't. If you can make it work, great. If you can't, don't. And just try to enjoy your life as much as possible without buying into or living your life based around the kind of shit that we're talking about right now.
Yes.
These numbers, in a sense, be aware.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe because we'd really like that.